So we're talking about
Okay.
Digibro. All right.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I was just saying that when you have an anime fan who's going out there and is saying anime is mediocre now, it rings to me in the same vein that a few years ago we had millennials going on about how there was no good music anymore.
Okay.
Like this is an art form that you're clearly passionate about, and you're seriously going to say, well, I mean, it's all just romantic animes now and they're all made with CGI, so therefore anime is just bad now. It just seems like maybe you're not digging in deep enough, because I promise you it is impossible for all of it to be trash, because I'm always getting recommended animes that I just don't have the fucking time for.
Uh-huh. All right. So then let's watch that video because that's also the one that's featured on his channel. Actually, let's just go to his home channel feature.
Okay,
Are
I'm gonna
you
mute my
moving the
phone
mouse?
so that I don't spurg out. I'm not. I don't have the remote.
Oh, okay. So Jorge, do you have a Rabbit account? Because that's how we're watching this.
I don't have a Rabbit account. I don't know what that is really. Let
Oh,
me check.
okay.
There is a link here. Let me
Yeah,
see.
that's the link.
Like,
Okay,
it's like why?
All right. I
so
already.
what
I'm
I
trapped
Okay.
in an existential nightmare, caged at the intersection of two mediums which openly reward mediocrity, created for people
Okay,
who want nothing more than such. YouTube,
What?
which has spent so long encouraging creators to chase the form of their content, which most resembles a 24-hour live stream of their lives with a minimum
forgot.
production
I
value
realized I
of
didn't put up video.
coherently watchable, and anime, which apparently
Hold on, I gotta
encourages CGI crowd shots in the first 5
Oh, there it
minutes
is.
of every
CGI. You
fucking
said
new
it.
show. You ever
You
have
said
one
that
of
he
those
didn't want.
embarrassing moments
Didn't
where
want.
you're
People
trying
don't
to
like
show
CGI
one of your
for some reason.
parents
I don't know why.
anime?
it's a
Like, hey, this
massive
show's
it's a
really
massive
cool. It's got a
complaint.
really
I could
interesting
delve
plot.
into
It's
it,
got like the best
but
character development I've ever
But
seen.
You want me to
I'm
pause
watching
Click
Digibro
on
for a sec so
episode
you can
1
talk about his
and are
complaint?
reminded what you
All
had
right, shut up,
forgotten.
Digibro. All right, so yeah, why do people hate? Why do people hate that?
so I mean, so again, I'm not a huge weeb. I've seen a couple animes. I follow a lot of the older stuff. Driver is the main reason that I even got into Evangelion, and I'm in my 20s.
Okay.
So before that, like, my exposure is very limited. But what I can tell is, and this was something, I'm kind of a big Berserk fan. I've read Berserk for a long time. And so I've seen all the anime adaptations. I've seen the video games. Like, I know all about that. And I've kind of delved into the new Evangelion reboot sort of deal. And it seems to me that the idea is that CGI is to anime what Flash was to cartoons back in the day.
Oh, okay.
Um,
So back.
because it's so cheap and it's so easy, the justification is that it essentially loses something that the art form had before.
Which is like a huge time sink, I guess. Like,
The act of having a huge time sink means you have that human interaction, and I don't really think anyone can argue that CGI can't look good. I think
is this
CGI can look
like
very
digital
well.
photography versus like old school photography? Like people don't have to develop their film anymore in the same way in a dark room. A lot of skills have died, even though like you might have spent a long time perfecting your craft. But that's
Yeah, I think it goes back to like rotoscoping too with animation. Rotoscoping was a very time-consuming process, and that was kind of the basic roots and beginnings of it all. And so as the art form evolves and technology evolves, you gain like these tools that you can use. And I don't know if everyone just hates CGI because it's CGI, or if they hate how CGI is used. Um, and I don't know Digibro's specific opinion, but I do know that, like, on the Berserk, the most recent anime adaptation, the problem wasn't really just the CGI. The problem was they had a director for the animation whose main works were action flick type deals.
okay.
And so you have a grim, morbid combat anime
Morbid
where
Combat for Sega Genesis.
yeah, something like that.
All right.
You've got this media that's been established as dark and not fluid but very kind of clunky. And then you have this director whose main works have been high-paced, lots of cuts, very discombobulating. And so you bring CGI into the mix and everything just gets fucked up.
Okay.
So I guess that would be the main worry with most people for CGI, is just that it's cheaper and therefore it's lazy and you lose that human edge. But
Okay.
everyone seems to just either just hate it in general, or just, I've never heard anyone praise CGI, because CGI can look really good if you get a still, like, you don't have wonky frames.
It's
But I
kind of like a
always just hear
laser
hatred for it.
corrective eye vision, like eye vision laser correction. Like a lot of people say that, like it's this newfangled thing. It makes eye surgeons a lot lazier, since they can just rely on these lasers instead of doing the surgery themselves, or prescribing medications and glasses, and manufacturing glasses that have high quality lenses, because they could just take the easy shortcut and just do laser surgery, and then nobody says anything good about it, even though it can be done in a good way that corrects someone's vision so that it becomes better.
It would be like if you treated LASIK the way that it was treated, 7 years ago, when everyone was saying LASIK was a mixed bag. And
Okay.
then these days it's like a much higher success rate and way better and da 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 da. That being said, you degenerate anyways. But yeah, I don't hate CGI personally. I think CGI was used in a lot of the earlier animation stuff that I'd been exposed to as a kid. But like I said, that's a whole mixed bag, and
So
how
maybe
effective that
let,
is.
let's watch this video and see if Digibro is boomering on that front, or if he has a legitimate claim on that.
Yeah, if his
That
criticism
there
is
is
legit.
goofy ass CGI crowd scenes all over the fucking
Crowd
show.
scenes?
And your mom just bursts out laughing because she can't handle this, because she hasn't gotten
Why are you showing your
used to
mom
this.
anime?
Don't get me wrong, she's gotten used to the trash style of American reality dramas.
Wait, so
but she's got
he doesn't
higher
like that there are too many characters on the
expectations of
screen? Is that what it
animation
was?
made for adults. And I don't mean to
His
say
reasoning
that it's
is that
stylistically
they
different
use
and that's
CGI
bad.
to
If you know
put
anything
more
about me,
bodies
you
on the
know I love the
screen.
styles of Masaharu
Well, I mean,
Kaiji,
I guess you
Shin-chan,
don't
all that
want to
other
waste
weird
a lot of
Japanese
resources
shit.
on
I don't
background
think people
characters,
really
but there
have a
are a lot
problem
of
with
people,
that kind of
especially if
stuff
you're in
anymore.
like a
Everyone
city, like a
kinda
modern
gets
city.
Japanese culture now.
Mhm.
Like, we understand that this is just what it's like over there. It's when you
He
see
does have some
cheap
pretty good
looking
clips
shit
in the
that they
background, though, like
obviously wouldn't have
Daikon
made
and
that way.
No,
if
but
they
these
had
clips
the
are things I
Inferno
think
funds
that
Cop.
he's
or the
criticizing.
manpower
Like,
to
these are the
do it
things he doesn't
differently.
like, I
If they
think.
had the fucking time.
He doesn't like
if they weren't
Inferno
all
Cop?
being run on these
I don't know,
insanely
probably.
tight schedules
I
with
think
these
that
insanely
he,
low
like, I think he's
personnel
using
counts,
examples
with
of like
insanely
of
low
like what's
budgets.
lazy or something.
Because
I don't
instead
know.
of anime
Yeah,
studios
Inferno
taking
Cop
big
is
risks
lazy.
and
That's
trying
the
to
joke.
lead more full productions,
So
maybe
he hates
consolidating some of
mainstream
the
anime,
strengths
probably.
of different studios,
I don't know what
instead
this.
of constantly splintering off into new offshoots who end up just doing generic light novel adaptations that don't pick up anyways, trying to make enough of a dime off of their side projects to fund their passion projects and then
what?
not being able to, or trying to jump into the passion project too early before they're
Okay,
really fully fleshed
that's
out
good, but let's see what else he has to say.
children's movie that's ever come out
Children's
of anything
movie.
associated with Studio Ghibli. And that's not to say that it's a bad movie. I'm just saying, where is the risk taking to try to make a classic?
Oh, so
Netflix
basically he's saying that they're
recognizes
being
Masaaki
like
Yuasa
Disney.
as a
Okay,
master
all right. So that's
squandering these
fine.
people's talents by forcing them to draw the same old shit forced drivel that will perpetuate the staleness of this marketplace and to continue animation.
You know,
from
I actually was
breaking
not
into
into
the
anime
mainstream
until
to a
they started
point where
making
we
it
could
look all
afford
cute and
to
shiny like
fund
this. You know
these
what I mean?
animators a
So,
little bit more.
I'd
So
say.
meanwhile, I'm over here like, hey, the background characters in Sword of the Stranger look like shit, and I got people being on
Okay,
me
so
like,
he doesn't like the
"All
background
anime
characters.
has
That's
stuff
fine.
like
Okay,
that."
so he
That's
doesn't
just
like
a
background
major
characters.
endless torrent
He doesn't
of
like cute
new
characters. What else does he not want?
over the course of the last 2
Pokemon?
decades. You don't see plushies of the characters from Pokemon. You only see the monsters. And that's because even though the character designs in Pokemon are generally fairly stellar, they didn't have as
Fairly
much of a
stellar. They
universal
look basically
appeal.
the same as the
Meanwhile,
other
this
shit that he's
latest gen has
criticizing.
some
I
of
don't
the most
see
popular
why
girls
he
in
would say that
Pokemon
this
history.
is good,
And they're
whereas all
not
the other
just
stuff is bad. Do you not see any resemblance between
decisions
Pokemon
that
and the other
ultimately
animes, or do they look completely different to you?
because itself is a
I can tell that it's a
I,
style.
I,
or something.
It's a modern
I think
style.
he's got a
shown on
lot here
Japanese
that he's
TV.
trying to
And
criticize
yet,
about
it
the
is
media.
tuned
And
into
I don't
what
think
people
it's just
actually want
limited
right now.
to
Even though
the
this
animation
overwhelming
either.
level of sex and
It
violence
seems like
is
mediocrity, and this was something that I was kind of thinking about that he might go into,
Uh-huh.
is right now it's kind of, there was a fad where everyone was into isekai, which is a genre that I barely understand. I
Let's
know very
let's see
little
what
of.
Digibro has to say about
What's
isekai. Hold on a
what's
second. I want
what's
to
that?
find out. I want to see if he said if does he use terms like soft isekai and does he talk about isekai being for losers? Because I wants to
Of
know.
course, he has a video about ranting about it.
Let's.
Because
You're
of
in the rant
course.
wormhole where I rant about whatever my $15 a month plus patrons want me to rant about.
Okay,
and
so
you
Okay,
there's
tell
an
now
me
intro
what
we
pause
to
have
real
to
do.
quick.
skip. No, we have to skip
Pause
real
real
quick.
quick.
We're running out of
I
time
know.
here. Like I'm doing this new thing now
Why?
where we have a hard limit that we may
Oh,
not stick to, but that's what we have to do.
okay, I just want to say he's only ranting about isekai because a member told him
Somebody
to rant
pay
about isekai.
because somebody pay for it.
Yeah, someone paid
Yeah,
him. So
yeah.
basically, that's the way Patreon works. Is you go on Patreon, you sign up for it, and then people pay you, and then you're their bitch, and then you have to do whatever they say. And
Just like a regular job.
well, it's kind of like a
That's
regular
what the
job,
job is.
except that like you're more like in a regular job, you usually have like a contract and usually have like somewhat of retaining your self respect. Whereas when you go on Patreon, you
That's
have
a
to
lie,
you have to
dude.
just do if they tell you to like have a can of spam on your head while you're like doing some other degenerate stuff, like you got to do it. Otherwise, they're gonna unsubscribe. You know.
Well, but that's the same thing as a job. I
No,
mean,
no,
there
no,
are
because in a job, like, there are limits to what they can make you do. On Patreon, like, they want you to do something, you got to do it.
well, if I sign a contract about well, I don't really care about that.
Okay,
What is isekai anyway?
Isekai is basically an anime that takes place in like an alternate universe, like kind of like, um,
Wizard of Oz. Just think of Wizard of
yeah,
Oz.
like the Wizard of Oz. If
Okay.
they like, so if they ever go to another world, then that's an
So
isekai,
every
right?
single other anime out there is an isekai then?
Basically,
No.
yeah. It's
Is Evangelion an isekai? Because that happens
Evangelion
in
No.
is what
another
some
world.
people would consider a soft isekai, which is
I
like the, the,
guess.
the gayest term I've ever heard in my life. So
S-
yeah, basically, what soft isekai
Sword of
is
the
like,
Stranger is an isekai then because that
yeah.
happened in another world, I guess.
If it's like if they go to like a Lord of the Rings esque worlds and they were originally from like the real worlds, so to speak, then that's generally what it's like.
Let's say I made an anime about a guy going to war. That would technically be a soft isekai.
Yeah, there you have it.
Because it's a normal dude just going into the middle of a fucking war. That would be a soft isekai.
Oh yeah. So that's kind of like the anime series Saikano, where it's like just like some normal high schooler who has to go to war, and it turns out that war is pretty shitty, and and then he I think he gets killed. So I mean he's
So
not
There's
the
no
main
like
way
character,
war
but
is
yeah.
shitty.
Hmm?
looking at the definition here, it's basically an anime or video game where the main protagonist goes to another world.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it's
Correct.
it's
So
it's good stuff. It's good stuff.
So
Like
he lives
basically,
in one world and he travels to another world by any means,
any
and that's
means,
basically.
yes.
yes. So basically, it gives you the groundwork for telling a story that is not going to be boring. So let's see what Digibro has to say about this. Hold on a second. So like, yeah.
Label feels somewhat new, as does the trend of isekai consisting of a collection of tropes, for example, the neat otaku protagonist. But the story premise of someone being transported from contemporary society to a fantasy world is as old as Alice in Wonderland, if not older. Are 90s anime like Escaflowne, Digimon, and Inuyasha isekai, or are they in a separate genre deserving
Okay.
of
So
a
basically,
different
it's him
title?
explaining what
What about
isekai is. All right. So that's
Okay,
he's reading what
nice.
the Patreon guy
you
wrote
could
him.
look at like the never-ending story. It's about a kid going into a book. Wait, that's not the right one. What's the one where the kid goes into the book? The book Page Master.
The Page
The
Master.
Page
Yeah.
Master. I don't know why I always confuse that with never-ending story. Like you could look at like the Page Master that's going into a book. You could look
I like
at
his
like
glasses. I'll never take that away from
even
him.
older isekai anime that fit
Yeah.
the description more snugly, like Mare.
Is he going for like the
M-A-R with
the
a
the
like
creepy
umlaut over
pervert
the
look?
A.
Because
That one's like
that's what
a
I'm doing with my
very
username.
typical kid goes into a video
It's what
game world
happens when you
isekai
read too
shonen
much
series from like
Battle
the late
Angel
90s, I
Alita.
want to say.
You start
Like, I
wearing
can remember
glasses
other
like that.
stories about characters getting trapped in video games going way back, you know. Even the trend of like what people are calling native isekai, like
Right.
even that's been a thing for a long
To
time.
use
Like if you
native
watch
isekai.
Ragnarok Online, the anime, it feels like
Okay, whatever. Hold on a second. Let's
what
skip a
can
little
we
bit.
send to the other world? Like who can top the most retarded thing that you can turn up as in another world? You know,
Mhm.
what unique powers will you have? Like at this point, it's more about filling out this checkbox, like this database of elements of the isekai.
Okay, he doesn't like
How that
things
symbolizes,
having other
and it can
things in
symbolize
common
so
with
many
other
different things.
things.
Like
So,
anime again has taken this and run with it as far as it possibly can. Like
all right.
coming up with all kinds of different themes to explore. You know, the difference between say,
You can
the
kind of see
stupid
what's
one
in
with the
his
girl with
house by the
the
reflection of his
eyes,
glasses.
who's a
I
Japanese
know. It's
following
very
Yojo
fascinating.
Senki.
Yeah,
Like
no,
something
I
like
actually
that.
care a lot
The
more about that
ideology
than what
of
he's
that
saying about
versus
isekai. Like, I'm like, yo, is there a person sitting at that
so I guess
table?
it's
Like,
getting bad, or it's
wait, who's
gotten
Well,
that in the
bad.
his
It's been
reflection?
bad
TV,
for a
Wait,
while.
let's
his
go back,
TV.
let's go back.
It's
Was
getting
that a person's
bad,
face?
or it's gotten
Okay.
bad.
Hold
It's
on,
been
hold on.
bad for a while.
Yo, we gotta go.
So I guess it's getting
Was that a
bad,
guy?
or it's
That
gotten
was
bad.
that a
It's been
person?
bad for a
Or
while. But there is a lot
Well,
of
his
good
TV has a
isekai, and
reflection
like
or his
too.
TV's
I don't
over
know.
there, but
There's
like over
something
here, there was
almost
like a person or something.
there's
No,
something
I
interesting to
think
me about the
that's
thought
his
of just
camera.
like
His
totally
cameraman,
Yeah.
It's
maybe.
on a
taking an
tripod.
idea
Oh, okay.
on how to handle that genre, and then they just run out of
Does
ideas,
he
you
have a
know?
stool?
And like you see
What?
this happen
Does
all
he
the
have
I
a
time in
want
the
him
stool?
to
music
do
world,
a
where
rant
different
like this.
subgenres just
Look, I don't want to
become
pay
all
him,
the
but
rage for a
I want him
while.
to
And it's
do a
like
rant like
you're
this.
listening to rock
Like,
radio,
I
and
don't
all of a
want him
sudden it's
that badly
grunge,
enough that I
and
would
then
pay him,
later
but
it's new metal,
in
and
like
then
one of
later
those like
it's emo, and it's just
interrogation
like
rooms where
this
like
is
he's sitting
all
on a
the
chair
radio
and the room's
sounds
just
like for a
completely
while.
empty,
It's
and like it
mega.
looks like he's like
Those are the
it
only
looks like
ways
it's
that
obviously someone's
it'll
holding a gun
be
off
after
screen and he has to
bubble
say
bath
like whatever the
burst
person
and
tells
being
him, and
Like
then
a
positive.
like
Taliban,
So
like a
The
Taliban
Taliban
holding him
video,
hostage.
execution
yo,
video.
Isekai may be
speaking of
tried and
like
true and
anime
around.
and interrogation rooms, Magical Girl Spec Ops Asuka basically has scenes like that, and I'm like, oh, I want Digibro in a scene like that, and that would be pretty cool. I want him to talk about anime. Well, actually, you know what? Okay, I think this concludes our first episode. Because
What?
I've run out of HP for listening to Digibro talk about anime. So I gotta ask you now, has this convinced you to become a weeaboo?
What's that?
Okay,
It's
so how about you? I'll explain to you what a weeaboo is
well, it's
next.
like the bros from for PewDiePie. That's
It's
how
more
he calls
like,
his subscribers.
you know what bronies are? It's like bronies are
Like the
to
pancake.
the people who like My Little Pony, as weeaboos are to anime. I guess it's like
I
a rough
thought
analogy.
I thought brownies were like a pancake
Oh no,
filled with
not
chocolate.
brownies. Brownies are like the delicious treat. Bronies
Yeah,
are things that
brownies.
that you don't want. They're basically
Why not?
people because they're guys who are like adults and they're really
Wait,
into My Little
My Little
Pony.
Pony, the last version that came out like 4 3 years ago.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I really like that show. That I only watched the first season,
Oh, okay.
and I lost track of it after that.
Oh, okay. Well, a brony would never lose track because
It's
I,
like a fan,
Yeah,
I guess.
the
yeah, a
yeah.
hardcore fan.
Yeah, they're too hardcore to lose track. Losing track of it, that's
So,
like, yeah.
so weeaboo would be someone who is like that, but with just anime in general. Do you think you'd ever be one?
I guess I am. I think.
Is it because of Digibro? Did he convince you?
No,
Oh,
my wife convinced me.
oh, okay.
She actually pretty much forced me to get a Netflix account.
Uh huh.
So for our TV,
Well,
I
that
don't
is
really watch TV.
that is a
Uh,
lot more heterosexual of a way to get into anime, I guess.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Well, I don't see anything sexual on anime anyway. But
Oh,
the
okay.
thing is that I actually watched an anime that I really like it.
Uh huh.
It's called High Score Girl.
Oh, okay.
It's a Netflix original.
Where she gets the high
It,
score.
it's pretty much the history of this kid on the 19th, starting the 19th,
Yeah.
and he plays a Street Fighter and
Uh.
he plays arcade games. Since I was born around the same time, I managed to play the same video games, and I really like it. I am more like a video game guy anyway.
Okay.
So I clicked with the history a little bit more, I guess. Um, It is a 3D generated anime. I think it's like how do you call it?
Oh,
The
CGI.
CGI.
CGI,
Yeah,
CGI.
yeah.
Yeah.
that's it. So
Okay.
my main complaint with the history, I mean the history of the anime is really good. I really like it. They put a lot of attention and they actually use real video games for that anime.
Oh,
My main complaint with it was that the FPS on the characters is really bad.
I thought you were gonna say
I don't know
FBI.
why.
Like my main complaint is that the FBI kicked out my door after I started watching
No, no,
this.
no. I mean
Uh,
the
The
entire
frames per
anime.
second.
The
Yeah,
frames
I
per
see what you're
second,
saying.
oh,
yeah, it's like I don't know why it's pretty much like at 20 frames per second. So the
Mm-hmm.
movement is not really on a spot. It looks pretty chop off. I don't know why. Since it's already 3D anyway, I wonder why they didn't go all the way about 60 frames per second, and they
That's a
will have a
complaint.
masterpiece. I don't
yeah.
know
That's a
why.
complaint that I heard with Berserk. That
Oh,
was one of the things was that, and it is visible. The CGI can look very good, but unless you're watching something like high budget, it always seems to be 20 frames per second, 15 frames per second, and you can tell that
But
it's
yeah,
very
you can
staggered.
tell.
okay.
But
So, are
my
you
question is
convinced
why?
now to be a weeaboo because of Digibro after seeing the
What's that
clips?
weeaboo again?
The someone who likes anime too much and follows it.
Define too much.
Uh, uh, uh like
How,
I don't-
how much will be too much?
when you
If you
when you end up
lose
looking like this
track,
guy, when you look like this guy, then that's too much. All right.
I may look like him after I get into a software development project that asks me to stay up 15 hours a day. Maybe yes.
Yeah, that's
But
too that's
yeah.
too productive. I'm talking about watching anime, not doing something like that. You're gonna
Uh, unless the anime is really interesting to me, maybe.
okay.
Maybe, yeah, maybe.
So, Lupus, are
No.
you going to? Oh, wait, should we refer to you as Lupus? I didn't introduce anybody. I did a bad job at that. We're here with Jorge Escobar, host of the Learn to Code show and podcast. I listened to his latest episode where he's talking about his experience with the Ubuntu server. And uh, Lu-
just call me Buns.
Buns, are
Buns.
you? Who are
Buns.
Okay.
you?
I'm sorry.
Who are you in terms of like internet stuff, or what should people know
Um,
about you?
I'm an underground content creator. I don't do anything online. I don't have any social media. I just shit post.
Okay, Bun can be found on the deep web. You're gonna have to install Tor if you want to find his content for content. Okay,
Please
so
use a VPN.
use a VPN and Tor. So what you're going to need. All right. So how about you, Bun? Are you going to be a weeaboo now because of Digibro?
Like I said, I knew of Digibro. I don't think anything could ever convince me to become a weeaboo, especially not Digibro.
Especially
Nothing.
not Digibro. I mean, from
Yeah.
other things I've
I
heard of Digibro, like in other places, I don't dislike him as a
I
as a
don't either.
guy. It's just that I don't like listening to him talk about this stuff. It's because it's yeah.
Are you
So
sure?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I don't like listening to people in general talk about anime. So that's why I don't like watching these reviewer videos. And I'm
But
I'm going on this journey to see if there is one reviewer that I will actually like, and if that reviewer is good or not good at convincing people who are not weeaboos into becoming weeaboos.
I'll put it to you this way. I mean, even I tried liking Super Eye Patch Wolf's content for a while,
Well,
and even that wasn't enough because I mean,
we might do
you
him for
can't
episode
just
3, Super Eye Patch Wolf, because episode 2 we're gonna do the Anime Man, and see if he does a good job of convincing
I've never
people.
heard of that man.
Oh, he's I think he's one of like the more, I guess, popular reviewers or something. So we're
Hmm.
gonna see if his popularity helps him out. I mean, Digibro is pretty popular too, but Digibro is more like an anti-hero type thing. He's like Batman, where like the people don't like him, because
Hmm.
he's too edgy or something like that.
what?
Yeah. So
I
Well,
gotta say,
I do have. Okay, see, go.
10,000 views on this video, like that's nothing to snuff at.
yeah, yeah, he's popular, but he's like the anti-hero. He's like you know He,
The
he,
hero we need, we
yeah,
deserve,
yeah.
something like
He's the hero that that everybody shits on because like
that. Let me say,
yeah.
let me say this. I do follow a lot of people on YouTube
Uh,
because, and I follow Digibro not because I'm not really a weeaboo.
yeah.
I do enjoy how he talks about this.
Okay.
So
Because
his
he's really into it.
narration, that's
Okay.
what I enjoy. I actually posted a video on the Discord server. You don't really have to watch it right now. Uh, I posted because it's an example of what I do really enjoy. I may not like anime that much, yet I do find it fascinating how he talks about it. He seems to know what he's talking about. Um, when I listen to him ranting, I may be doing something else. Maybe I may be cleaning my home, something else. Maybe walking to the grocery store, and I just find fascinating how he talks about anime.
Yeah.
I may not become a weeaboo. I may become a. I guess uh, I
A
find
soft
Digigoro.
weeaboo.
Oh yeah. Or a guiaboo,
No,
which we're just like a mix of a Guido and a weeaboo, and like you gotta be
well,
tan and you gotta get jacked and like
not really that. I guess that I find him fascinating. Maybe I'm not into anime as he does yet. I do enjoy listening to people talking about things that they enjoy or
all right.
that they are passionate about.
Yeah, I
Maybe
get
he
that.
doesn't. Maybe he doesn't enjoy this anime about a girl that falls in love with a sword guy, and they are in a. I don't remember the name because Japanese name. I just they just don't stick into my brain anyway. Um, he make like a 12 episode about that, ranting about that. And he makes like even he compares the same anime to another very similar one, and who of those two animes is the less worse, something like that.
Oh, okay.
So,
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Was it the Sword Art versus some other anime?
no, not Sword Art Online. It's another one.
Yeah, he also
Um,
dislikes Sword Art Online, and
yeah,
I
it's
don't
more
know.
like a love-hate relationship with that anime. I was forced to watch the first
I like the first
uh,
story arc. That was
first
good.
season.
The
The
first the
first
fir-
season.
the first half of the first season was good. Uh,
I do have to agree with him in the sense that, from a video game fan like myself, I don't really find those rules. They don't really make sense in a video game, in a real video game, because
yeah. In
they are
real life, you
basically
don't. In real life, the way it would work is you'd be playing like Street Fighter, and you'd be playing it in like a basement type thing with like no furniture, and there'd be like very blatantly a guy off screen with a gun that's gonna execute whoever loses that fight, and that's how it would go in real life. It wouldn't be like a microwave like in
well,
I
Sword Art
would
Online.
watch
getting
that
back to
shit.
first
Yo, you
season,
would watch that
getting back.
like Street
I
Fighter
would watch an
Deathmatch
anime. I would watch an anime where they have to play fighting games in like a Taliban hosted tournament,
with a
and
guy off
whoever
screen with a
loses
gun. That's
dies.
that like where there's very because there you could tell like there's a lot of like stress on like from their facial
Oh yeah.
expressions
Oh
because
yeah.
like they don't show it on camera, but there's very obviously a guy with a gun off screen just ready to off whoever loses that fight.
You could make 3 episodes alone about the guys who are competing trying to figure out how to keep their hands from sweating so that they don't fuck up with the joystick. That is gold. I would watch that. I'd watch the shit out of that.
Yo, this is like half like coming up with ideas for stuff like I don't know. I don't have a
But
studio. I think that probably the best way to do this is to CGI it because that's like the easy, cheap, lazy way to do it.
Yeah,
and make
let's
it
make sure we
60
get a
frames
lot
per
of
second,
crowd.
please.
Oh,
Let's get a bunch of crowd shots in there too. I hear a lot of people like those. Just
okay.
like 100 people in the background,
Yeah,
CGI, please.
yeah.
As long as you make it 5 seconds or less, I guess it's okay.
Twitch.tv/Taliban Basement Gaming. Yeah.
Well, getting back to Gigi, bro, I do listen to him. I don't really watch his videos,
Okay.
so I just listen to him on the background. I may be playing a video game, something like that.
But you
Um,
wouldn't be able to see his cool glasses. Look at his glasses. Like, look how sick they are. Like, yeah.
they look pretty much. That's what I believe, that he is actually a character. Maybe he's not like that in real life. I do remember that you
No,
guys
don't
told me
don't ruin it
that.
for me, man. Don't ruin it. I
I
wanna
I
think
doubt
that
it's a
he's like that
character.
in
I
real
doubt it's a
life.
character.
I want to think
There's
that he
so
goes
much.
to. I want to think that he goes to the grocery store and he's got these glasses that reflects and he wears those glasses in real life.
I'll be honest. I'll be honest. I've seen like his content off of this channel, like I said, PCP. I don't think it's a character at all. I really don't. He may be psyching himself up a little bit because this is a rant that he was
Yeah,
paid to do, but I bet that fucker goes to the Walmart in those glasses looking like a
Oh,
baller.
there.
I bet you he wears a Hago shirts too.
A
I
who?
bet you he's
A
all in
Hago?
that.
Oh, with a Hago shirt trends. That's got to be
Oh
something
yeah.
that somebody has ranted about. If I find a video, we'll do an episode on that.
okay, so I pasted on the Discord channel a video. You can watch it later.
Uh huh.
And that's the kind of content that I'm looking for on YouTube. People talking about stuff that they like and just having a great time talking about it, or maybe ranting.
Okay.
But at least they are passionate. I do um, find myself listening to some episodes where, for example, on this one, he's being paid to rant, and as you can see, there is no script. He's just turning on his camera and talking about it. So I don't really feel the passion here. Like when he actually puts the word to create a script, I do really value those videos more than this one. This one seems to be just
Yeah.
because
Okay.
somebody talking to.
All right. So
I
I'm running out of
tell
bandwidth.
you, I've
The audio is
talked
cutting out, so I'm gonna stop the stream here.
constructed
All right.